All right. Um, we almost scored 30 points, right? Almost got to 30. Uh, yeah, that's a hard one. That's a hard one to process. That's a hard one to really talk about. It's kind of like the Browns game a couple weeks ago, right? It's kind of like that Browns game where you win and there's definitely some stuff to be happy about, but at the same time, it's like, wow, that better not be the best we can do, is what I'm saying. So, Seahawks win 29 to 26 at the gun on a Jason Myers field goal. They go back and forth with Washington for most of the game. Can't quite put them away. Let Washington sneak in through the back door in the fourth quarter with 2 touchdowns, and then you pull it off. So, wins are always appreciated. Wins are always something I will be thankful for in the NFL. I understand that this is not college football. But I got to be honest, I thought the team would respond a little bit differently to what happened last week. I thought we would get something a little bit better. I thought we would get something a little more definitive. I thought we would get something that said, hey, last week is not who we are. That Ravens game, we played that game, we played that bad, we lost that bad, it happens, but that's not who we actually are. I don't know. The team today, I mean, they were better, of course, but I didn't see a firm bounce back. I saw a flawed team playing undisciplined and sloppy football and beating a team that they are just better than right now. They have more talent than them. And I got to be honest, I was expecting a little bit better than that. So it's another one of these games where, don't get me wrong, there's stuff to be happy about. Mostly the fact that you won, but even beyond that, the fact that we saw some guys really kind of salvage their reputations a little bit in this game. The fact that we did see some of the positive signs early and in the middle of the game on defense. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say like everything sucks, but I expected a statement game after the way you played against Baltimore. And instead, I watched this team struggle to get out of their own way and then win at the gun. So there is going to be a little bit of that going on here. I'm sorry, but there's some stuff that needs to be said. And really, the guy I'm looking at is the guy at the top, the guy who's ultimately in charge of all of this. But let's start with some of the other stuff. Offensively, I mean, like I said, we almost got to 30 points. I said 31, they got to 29, but the road to get there was not smooth. We had to save most of our scoring for the end of the game. We had 9 points at the end of the half. The offensive line did play better in terms of blocking. I thought the blocking was good. A couple mistakes, but the offensive line looked way better than last week. The penalties are a problem. Penalties, I mean, I'll say the Damian Lewis holding was kind of soft, but too many penalties on the offensive line. We gotta stick with a 5-man unit. Like, I'm so over the Jason Peters thing. I'm sorry. I know Jason Peters is a cool story, but can this please be the last game he plays for us? It was fun. We needed him for a little bit there just because we needed a body, but we can do better. I'm very confident that even somebody like Curhan and Forsyth in a rotation is better than what Peters can give us. So the offensive line was definitely better. I want to give it up to DK Metcalf, who started the game out slow, a little bit tough, had a pseudo drop. I don't know if that one play against St. Just was a drop, but he had a chance to catch it at the very least. I can say that. Clutch at the end of the game. Lockett, big game from him, one of his best games of the year. I want to give it up to the backs. Both backs in this game I thought were really good. K9 housed the screen pass, which, hey, we're running screens a little bit better than we usually do. Credit where credit is due. This this offense, whatever their shortcomings may be, is starting to actually have some degree of success running screens. The K9 one was great. Lockett had a sweep, which is basically like a slightly modified screen. JSN had a screen that went for about 10 yards. Lockett had a screen that went for 6 yards. So I look at these things and I say, there's some stuff that I'm happy about. Waldron was better. I'll say that. He's better. I'm not going to say he was good. There was some stuff that still, like, why are we dropping back to pass so much? Gino dropped back to pass almost 50 times in this game when the game was never out of hand. The game was never out of reach. You could have run the ball a lot more than you did. I don't know why you're not. I understand the runs you had were not super successful, but it's not like the running game was getting completely shut down like it was against Baltimore. You could have run the ball a little bit more. So I'm not going to say he was good, but I do think he was better, which is proven in the ultimate result of this game. You don't put up 29 points if you're not better, but against that defense, I don't know if it was good. I need to talk about Gino for a second here because I got to admit, I was pretty done with him at the half. When he blew what should have been a field goal attempt by holding onto the ball too long and panicking and then intentional grounding it in a situation where that's the only thing you can't do, I was kind of done with him. I was like, okay, I wasn't saying anything about Drew Lock because I don't think Drew Lock is any good either, and I don't think that's going to result in anything better. But I did say, like, I can't watch something like that and be cool about it. I can't have my quarterback. If my quarterback isn't going to be elite, that's okay, but I can't have him giving away points like that. And that there's no other term that I can use to describe what happened on that play. He gave away an opportunity to get points. Don't get me wrong, Myers still could have missed the kick. It was a very long field goal we were giving up. I know he wanted to make some kind of play to make it more makeable, but at the end of the day, I look at that play and I go, if you're not going to be an elite quarterback, if you're not going to be a great quarterback, then I need you to not be a stupid quarterback, and that was a stupid quarterback play. So at halftime, I was out. I couldn't really defend Gino anymore. I couldn't say anything good about him. He was playing okay, but that play really lost me. And to his credit, he bounced back in a big way. He ended up putting up some really good numbers in this game, ended up leading the game-winning drive with less than a minute. He ended up hitting some very important, very big, very key plays in this game. He ended up probably, you're sitting back now looking at it, might be this game's MVP, which that's a heck of a thing coming from a guy who at halftime I was really, really down on. So I do want to say credit to Gino for bouncing back. I'm still bothered. I got to admit, I'm bothered. I know he didn't turn it over today, but that play right before the end of the half is basically a turnover. It has the same basic effect as a turnover. And again, I don't need him to be elite or even great. I just need him to be good, but part of being good means being smart. And a lot of the stuff that Gino was taking heat for this year, I haven't felt like was really his fault. That, and I can't put the fault with anybody else. Like some people were saying the delay of game on 4th and 1 is his fault. I don't know that. There's some breakdown in the chain of command there. I don't know where, but I don't know if it's Gino or not. But that play irked me more than anything else that Gino has done this year, honestly. And I know it didn't have the same negative effect as some of his other plays, but that was really bad. That being said, the offense, obviously, big improvement over last week. Like I said, a lot of the players deserve some credit here. Credit where credit is due. Like I said, I shouted out the receivers. I thought JSN played okay. He had a drop, but he also had some good plays. We got some stuff from Disley and Fant. But I'm trying to figure out how many times do we run a play and it feels like the defense knows it was coming. That's what's really starting to get to me. Like, I'm looking at that play on 3rd and 3 on our last touchdown drive where we hit Noah Fant coming basically, he's crossing the line of scrimmage. He's going from the left to the right, and we're hitting him in the flat, and he's going to go run for a 3-yard pickup and a first down. The defense is all over it. We throw it to Fant, and immediately he's getting gang tackled for a 2-yard loss. And I look at that, and I look at other teams running that play. Other teams that run that exact play, and it always works. It's like easy money, taking candy from a baby. I look at the plays that Washington is running when they have 3rd and short or 4th and short, and they always work. So, how do they know what's coming? Like, there was that one 3rd down in the first half where Geno swings it out to Charbonnet. It's a terrible throw. He misses Charbonnet. Charbonnet can't even get to the ball because the throw is so bad. Just a simple swing out into the flat. But I'm looking at that play and I'm thinking, if Charbonnet catches that, he's still not getting a first down because there are 2 defenders right there. He's not getting the first down. So I'm trying to figure out what, like I said, do we have a pre-snap tell? How do they know what's coming before it comes? Like, the plays in this offense that really seem to work right now are the plays where the defense knows it's coming and they cannot stop it. Like when DK Metcalf is running a streak route down the field like he's running a 9 route, and then he turns around and comes back. Defenses can't really do anything about that. They need to drop back deep to respect DK Metcalf's speed, and then when he turns around and comes back to the quarterback, they can't do anything about that. Because, like what are you going to do? Play him aggressively and let him beat you over the top? No, you can't do that. You have to respect his deep speed, and then he just comes back. He's always open. It always works. And it just feels like if we ran that play 20 times, it would work 19. So those are the plays that really work right now. And I'm trying to figure out why it seems like these defenses know what's coming. That's what's bugging me right now. That's what I'm trying to solve. And that's what Waldron needs to solve. Because most of the time when teams run those little plays to the flats, they work. And when I saw that Fant play today, it really hammered home for me that they know what's coming. Want to be very positive about this defense in this video. I really do. I really do want to be very optimistic about this defense because for most of that game, I thought they played really well. There were 2 plays that they gave up for most of that game. The kind of fluky pass to Brian Robinson and the other kind of fluky pass to Brian Robinson where Sam Howell gets outside the pocket, he flips it out over to the boundary, and there's a running back there wide open because he was being defended by either Mafe or Draymond, and it's a big play. Other than that, the defense was doing great. They were getting pressure. They had sacks. Witherspoon forced a big fumble, and Woolen recovered it. They were making some plays defensively in terms of breaking up passes. The run defense was mostly pretty good. The defense played so good for about 3 quarters, and I really want to sit here and praise them, but I don't think I can. That 4th quarter was awful. The run defense started to break down, gave up 2 big runs on one of their touchdown drives. We started to give up the normal stuff, like multiple times Washington had a 3rd and short or 4th and short. They ran a simple slant, and our guy just basically gave it up for free. Like, how do you not know that that's the most likely throw they're going to make if they're going to make a throw? How do you not know they're probably just going to try to quickly slant it over the middle there? Like, how are you giving that up? So, I don't know what I can say about this defense right now. They played good for most of the game, but what happened in that 4th quarter where we didn't see as much QB pressure, we didn't see as much well, honestly, the tackling was a little suspect the whole game. And by the way, that reminds me, Jamal Adams, I'm getting sick of it. Either learn how to tackle like a normal person or retire. Like, I appreciate the fact that you're all over the field, all over the place, but you need to learn how to tackle like a normal person. You missed 3 tackles in the 1st quarter. Somehow, some way, we have Jamal Adams, and his best asset is that he's been really good in coverage. Like, he's basically been bulletproof in coverage this year. Like how do we have Jamal Adams, and the only thing he's doing right now is coverage? How does that make sense? But anyway, there was stuff to like. Like, we got off the field on a couple of key third downs. We generated big negative plays. We sacked Howell 3 times, like I said. The run defense was good early. But at the end of the day, you give up those 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter when we're trying to put the game away. Like, I know the offense has struggled a little bit. I know the offense had a bad first half, but they are doing enough to put this game away. All you got to do is make a couple more plays, and I don't see anything good. I didn't see really much of anything good those last 2 touchdown drives. When that's the time when everything needs to get done. So, Boye Mafe, thank you. Another sack, another good game for Mafe. I thought Mafe, that touchdown to Gibson, by the way, the passing touchdown to Gibson, how Mafe didn't hit his arm before the ball got out, I have no idea. I mean, I feel like I feel like Mafe got a strip sack there, even though it ended up getting thrown for a touchdown. I have no idea how that happened. So Mafe played good. Witherspoon, I thought, played really well. I know he got beat a little bit on that last drive, and I know he missed a tackle on the, I think, second to last drive. But overall, I think that he played well. There are other guys on this defense who did their thing. Like, I thought that Draymond Jones bounced back pretty well. Leonard Williams had a sack. Bobby Wagner had half a sack. I think that Jordan Brooks played pretty good. But the breakdown at the end of the game, and that's really what's going to get me to what I really want to talk about here, the big picture, because I'm talking about all these players and these coaches and these and all these schemes and these X's and O's. I think the big picture today, the thing that I really want to drill down to at the end here, I don't think the team responded the way we needed them to during this week, where you're coming off that really bad loss. And bottom line is, as the head coach of this team, Pete Carroll, your job is to push the right buttons to get them right for the next game. And you got them just barely right enough to win. You did not get them right enough for us to feel that differently about the team. Like, I can feel it. I can feel it in this fan base. People, even when they win, like when they win like this especially, but in general, people are losing interest. People are checking out because they're seeing another team with a low ceiling. A team that can make the playoffs. Maybe they win a game, but at the end of the day, they're not going beyond what they've been for almost a decade now. And a game like this is going to confirm those people's priors, even though we won. So, even bad teams will typically respond in a positive way coming off an embarrassing loss like the one we had last week. And I don't really think we responded in quite the right way this week. So, at the end of this video, I really want to hammer this home. Pete, you pushed the wrong buttons this week. You didn't get the guys up to respond to last week's embarrassment in the right way. You got them up just enough. And honestly, at the end of the day, your defense, because it is always your defense, was the side that tried to blow it, and the offense had to ultimately bail us out. All right, I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks, streaming later, and that's how I feel.